let's see. We are live. I want to see everybody in here. Let me make sure this is going right. Man, what a race. That was fun. How's everybody doing? I know we're like a few seconds behind and everything, so let me know in the chat how's everybody doing right now. We won't start too much up until we get everybody in here. Oh man. Hold on one second. Make sure everything's good here. All right, we got the poll. We got that up right now on the channel. Be sure to start leaving your thoughts there as well as right here. All right. So I think a few of you are probably upset at me from Twitter. I don't care. Um, I was having fun with a little bit of trolling, little fun there. But let's get right into it on like the actual thoughts of the race itself. Because I see a lot of people, it's like half and half. Thank you, by the way, CBA for the $5. Says, I'm absolutely livid with that finish. What a chicken shit move by Elliott. Antar Dosting for the 199 says, Chastain needs to be taught a lesson by the field. All right, let's start off with the Chase Elliott stuff first. The Chase Elliott stuff, see, I personally am someone who's much more of a fan of the way old Atlanta was. I'm not a fan of the super speedway style stuff. I'm not a fan of these very late blocks, which, like it or not, what Elliott had there was a late block. I get that any other driver in the field would have done the same thing. It doesn't mean that it's the right kind of racing. I talked about it on the podcast this week, talked about it in videos. Like, I think that just the over aggressive culture in NASCAR is just wrong in a lot of ways. And making stuff like that okay over and over again, similar to what Larson did to Elliott earlier in the year, which was wrong. Um, in a lot of my opinion, I would say it's a lot of the same thing, honestly. Thank you, Adam Caperton, for the 199. Says Corey LaJoy just got a new fan. I like Corey, man. I like Corey, but thing is, I see people talking about Corey, hitting his bumper, and he did. It's just Elliott put that block way too late, um, and in that way, I think is where the chicken shit move aspect of it comes in. By the way, if there's anything up at the stream, if it's good, bad, let me know. I'm bummed out for Corey. I mean, full stop here. I was kind of rooting for Corey, not because and it's not because I dislike Elliott or anything, but it's because I put $10 on him in DraftKings and I could have won about 6 grand. I'm gonna be fully transparent with that before going too far into this. Uh, so I will admit I was a little upset with that. Uh, Crash the Hedgehog 91, thank you for the $5, man. It says heartbreak for LaJoy. I think it would have been a better story for LaJoy to get his first win instead of yet another one for the nine. I mean, it's always going to be big when the most popular driver gets a win, and I'm not gonna dispute that in any way. The most popular driver getting a win is always good for the sport. It's good when Chase Elliott wins for NASCAR because the majority of fans are happy, and just in general, that kind of takes NASCAR's stock up when it comes to being talked about online, all that stuff. Um, but personally, I think another underdog winner would be better. I think that, and I think I wouldn't be as upset with like the Elliott stuff if they weren't constantly talking about Elliott's fans, about the pool room. I mean, I think they cut to the pool room half a dozen times, and I know everyone would be upset if Fox Sports did that. Uh, Whereas if NBC does it, people are happy. By the way, click that like button. Let's see if we can get over 100 likes by the time we hit the 10-minute point of the stream. I think that's a reasonable goal. Adam, you're in the chat saying, in my opinion, Dale Jr. would not have made that block. Not that late. That's the difference between this generation of drivers and the old guard that we had up till about 2017, 18, 19. So I don't think Dale Jr. or Jeff Gordon would have made that block. It was just a different era back then. I personally, damn, we're already over 100, over 100 likes. Thank you to all 300 plus of you in here right now. Andrew Meyer with the $5 says this race was a pure Chase Elliott propaganda from NBC. Chastain wasn't entirely at fault for the first wreck, and Brad's three wide move in stage two was hot. I agree with the Brad Keselowski one. I won't go as far to say it was propaganda. I don't, you know, it reminded me of when Dale Jr. had announced retiring and they came back to Daytona and everything was Dale Jr., Dale Jr., Dale Jr., Dale Jr. Um, and I mean, as a Dale Jr. fan, I wasn't as upset by that as probably most people were, but I get why now. As someone who has no vested interest really in anyone except for the pure chaos of it, I get that. Chastain, I see the thing with Chastain in the first stage wreck though is I don't think he was at fault. I think people misinterpreted when I made the joke about him and Justin Marks. Um, but just because somebody is not at fault for being purposeful in an accident doesn't mean they're not in any way at fault of tapping or touching another car. Um, Chastain had been like right on everybody for a lot of the day. That was something that was like a constant he was doing. So I think that um, I think that because of his prior history, people are going to jump on him. But it wasn't malicious in any way. And by the way, Jared, I'm not crying at all. I'm just telling you now that for any other fan, it's not fun watching one driver get all the coverage. Same thing with Kyle Larson. Same thing with, Ross Chastain a lot of the time. He'll get a lot of coverage. But today it was a Chase Elliott fest. Um, and if Fox Sports did the same thing, I think that people would be upset by this. I know it was jokingly, Andrew. I know. I just for some reason you can see on the internet, you see by a lot of the chat, and you see by a lot of Twitter, people take this stuff really serious for some reason. I think that everyone is out to get them. Yeah, Tyler, our poor favorite driver, Michael McDowell. McDowell's supremacy did not reign today, um, but I think he got a top 20, so that's not bad even for being in an accident. But yeah, and NBC, like I said, NBC did push it. By the way, click that like button. We're at about 130 likes at the moment from what this screen is telling me. So let's see just how many we can get by the end of the stream. Again, I might be annoyed by anything, but I don't like necessarily hate any fan, anyone, anything like that. I just think there's room for improvement with broadcast. There's room for improvement with racing. What do you call it? Etiquette. I think there's room for improvement. Scott McNew, thank you for the fives. Oh, just about to leave the track. So heartbroken for Corey. I think that's something that everyone, even if you're an Elliott fan or a Chastain fan, who are the guys going for the win after the crash, for like the brief moment that it was green. I think that everybody can feel a bit sorry for an underdog like Corey LaJoie not being able to get the dub there. That would have been a great story. I completely agree with you though. To a lot of people who say that just like if Bubba were to make it be a wasted spot, it would, and I fully acknowledge that too. Hey, what's up, Danny? Rutledge Wood's new role of literally being anywhere else but the track is interesting. I mean, that's probably what they should have been doing with Clint Boyer, man. They should have been, if there is room for levity on broadcasts, and I think NBC has gotten that right so far. They went a little bit in the booth, a little overboard with some of the comedy at different points, but it wasn't too bad. Um, but I think that that's what a lot of people in the broadcast world should understand by that is fans are okay with a little bit of levity, but you don't go overboard or don't go too serious. It is a sporting event. It is fun. There's a nice balance. Don't go full Thanos on it, but make it balanced either way. Looking at some of the chat here, Zach says, Iceberg, what were your thoughts on the SRX race last night? I mean, being there in person was kind of mid, honestly. I was at the finale last season, and that had a lot more hype. There was the Elliott v. Elliott. It was the finale, all that good stuff. Oh, crap, I don't have the UFO on me, Groovy Goose, but I got part of it. So I don't think it was as good as last year. I think overall the SRX is kind of taking that step down just because it's not the new thing on the block anymore. But I'm really interested to see when the Blaneys are there. I believe Chase Elliott will be in that race, so that'd be cool. Thank you, Groovy Goose, for the 4.99. Says Rutledge just so happens to be at the pool room and Elliott wins. With that coincidence, spin the UFO, spinning away, spinning away. Also, Hamlin needs to pull a Kenseth Gordon move on Ross. I don't know what Ross needs. Ross is just he's aggressive. I don't want him to change that. Whoa. I'll get to that in a second. Daytona 500 champ. I don't. Ross just needs to know when to be that aggressive because guys like Logano, Hamlin, Keselowski were hated the same way Ross Chastain is now for their aggression and have been able to harness it in a lot of ways. You know, Logano to a lesser extent, but still. But Daytona 500 champ 15. Thank you for the $100 super chat. Love your stuff as well. Keep it up. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Like that means a ton that you'd be willing to donate that much. Adam Caperton, thank you for the 199. Are you going to Sharon for SRX? Because I am. I might. Full disclosure, my brother is going to be visiting some friends in Ohio, like I think 45 minutes from the track. So I might be in town there and just he'll follow me back home. I see that, Tyler. Yeah, again, at any point, whatever stream, if I do get 300, I'll pick a romance novel from NASCAR for me to read, and I'll read it on stream. It'll be bad. We'll just know that going in. But yeah, I might be at Sharon. But yeah, thank you, Daytona 500 champ 15. That's really generous of you. And we got about 350 watching right now, only 167 likes. Lick that like button. Let's get to 200 now. We can probably get to 200 by 20 minutes, I'd say. You're sad that Ty Dillon wrecked? I am too. So I will go on DraftKings because I live in a state where it's legal to do that now. And I'll go on DraftKings on Super Speedway ones and just go crazy with it, just have some fun with it. And so I just go with anyone who's below like 25th, 24th in points. I'll just put like $10 on. And I forgot how much I put on Ty Dillon, but all I know is if Ty Dillon would have won, I would have won 15 grand. So, again, a full disclosure on all that. Gavin Adcock, thanks for the $5, man. Yesterday was a boiling point for me. I just don't care about these I just don't care for these super speedways anymore. I did not come to watch trains. Yeah, so, and thank you, Sen Tracy, for the 199. No comment on that. So kind of the super speedway debate. I think we'll talk about that on Wednesday. By the way, Eric's channel is where the podcast is this week, so be sure to watch that. We got the poll on my channel up right now. Vote on that one. I'll probably read some of the comments on it, honestly, in a bit. But I feel conflicted a little bit because I do like super speedway racing. You know, I know there's a lot of purists who don't like it. I understand why they don't like it. It is somewhat manufactured. I don't like Atlanta because it's simply manufactured to be this. When the first big one came out, I literally said out loud, I'm like, this is why NASCAR likes this. It's because there's crashes. There's people that are, you know, going to come in just to watch super speedway crashes. I'm surprised they kept it on USA instead of NBC, especially after how the Fox race went. But I understand you can't change a lot of things on that. So I personally still don't like it. I thought today's race was much better than the spring until they started wrecking a bit more, but that's just a product of super speedway racing on a track that has multiple bottlenecks into the corners. I just think that this could have been done a little bit better if you were going to do super speedway style racing with it. And I think that there's room for them. Maybe they have to do an Atlanta only package next year. But the way that the runs are, it's still very quick runs, especially at a mile and a half. You have a lot less time to make decisions at a mile and a half. And because of that, you're going to see more wrecks when a push starts to come to shove at the end. I didn't see too awful much of the end of the Xfinity race. I did see a lot of it was choo-choo training. So I'm not crazy about choo-choo training. Alex Luft, speaking of choo-choo train, I think that's that one of the characters from Thomas the Train in his. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, oh man, I read that by the way in my head as Benny Parsons. Brock Beard has a stream on at the same time. I'm conflicted. I mean, good thing is I believe he leaves his up. I leave mine up. So choose whichever you want, man. Either way, he's got awesome stuff. So I implore everyone to subscribe to Brock. He is awesome with his content. Crash the Hedgehog 91 for 2 says, "Why was the 42 blamed for that wreck?" I don't know. I didn't see that, but again, I was sort of in my own little world. By the way, as we approach 400 watching, we're at 200 likes. How about we get to 300 likes by 20 minutes, since you guys are just on it today? Like, good lord, you guys are doing well. Thoughts on Denny's interview? I have not seen many of the interviews. I don't watch too much post race just because a lot of it you can get the quotes if they're good, like online later. You can get guys who are really good, like Noah Lewis, who are at the track a lot of the time. They'll put up really good quotes too, on YouTube. So I don't watch too much of the stuff on TV, per se, as I do like online. I generally like, the only reason I have any TV, like cable or anything right now, is because of NASCAR. If NASCAR had like a YouTube stream every week on their channel, I would get rid of my YouTube TV right now because I only use it for NASCAR and Minnesota Viking games. Yeah, Andrew, Noah Lewis is an MVP. Again, Noah Lewis is another one. When we were at the media center in Nashville, it was cool getting to hang out with him and hearing like where he sees kind of the YouTube, the sport broadcasting. That dude is the future of NASCAR, media and at the track. He's like a young Bob Pockrass. Just he is always on top of it and getting the info he needs to, and it's top notch. Century C, thank you for the 199. Chastain isn't as bad as people make him seem. I think to a degree, yes. I think it's just he goes overboard with the aggression sometimes, and it's fun. And don't get me wrong, as someone who likes having stuff to talk about, I hope he keeps it up. I love the aggression, for someone who loves storylines. Um, but at the same time, he also can go overboard. I think different situations require kind of different lenses. I think when it comes to Chastain, but I love we have polarizing drivers again in a good way for the on track product, and that's something that NASCAR, had kind of run low on in recent years. So it's good to see a bit of a change with that. I don't hate Watermelon Man. He's always been cool to me at the track. He's a good driver. I have no reason to dislike Ross Chastain. TNT Productions, I see in the chat, says, Austin Hill, this win means so much to me. Crowd cheers. Chase Elliott, yeah, it was a pretty good race. Crowd explodes. NBC did a good job of getting that crowd noise pumped in today. So, no, see, Noah Coleman, you have a perfect like analogy for, I believe that's the right word, for Ross Chastain. Modern day Ernie Irvan. So correct in so many ways. Andrew Mayer for the $2 says, also the number 20 pit crew gaff, one race in, yikes. Yeah, that was pretty bad. That's a side that I understand when people defend Bubba Wallace. You can be like, hey, it's not all his fault. His crew messes up. The valid point. And you see it with Christopher Bell today. Christopher Bell had a really good run before that spin. Then it just all went downhill. The crew messed up. I'm interested if it's the two guys they switched from Bubba Wallace over to Christopher Bell and vice versa. I would like to see if they have any kind of data or any kind of like, or if any of you know which tire changer it was that had the tire, whether it was front or rear. I would be very interested to see that data, among other things. 48 Waffles also chases the man to beat, or is it someone else? There's still no one to beat. I mean, it's a super speedway. You can't really go and judge anything from this point forward from a super speedway. We have one Daytona race, one Talladega race. That's all you can really judge from this. But the guys who were fast here were fast in the spring. They were fast at Daytona. They were fast at Talladega. So you can judge that for the regular season finale and the playoffs in general. Thank you, Showtime 787 says love the hat, Iceberg. Also love your Winston Cup Series hat. Thank you. Yeah, I got this at the Beer Gear store. They're in my previous hometown area of Rockford, Illinois. Really good stuff. They have a good website too. I'm like shouting everyone out today, but there's so many good people that need to be recognized more. I just want to do every small part I can with that. I'm really interested in this one. So I'm going to go look at the poll right now. We've had it up for about 20 minutes. We're about 20 minutes into this thing, by the way. Click that like button. We're at 225. Got over 360 watching on this end. So thank you guys for that. We got 1.4K votes in, and a majority say it is a great race. Now, when I say majority, I mean 57% say it's a great race. So good stuff there. At least I'm glad. I'm glad fans are happy. I kind of figured with Chase Elliott winning, there'd be a lot of people pretty excited over it. Alex Luft has a question here. Who do you prefer, Tony Stewart or Matt Kenseth? Man, um, I've grown to like Matt a lot more. 2015 being at that race changed that for me because I really had no opinion on him. Um, but Tony Stewart I've always had a special place for because he's just fun. Like that dude, like seeing him walk through the garage at SRX, it's like you knew at any moment something fun could happen. Um, that's a toughie, man. I'm gonna lean Tony. You know, Eric will probably have a stern talking to with me about that this week. But I'm gonna lean Tony. Um, man. Let's see. Will you watch any more replays of the finish? I've watched a bunch of replays. And again, it's not the worst block ever, but it was still a bad block, and I will stand by that. I'll talk about that this Wednesday on Eric's channel too. Most underrated driver in NASCAR. Are we talking about Corey LaJoie? Are we talking about Matt Kenseth? Who are we talking about on that one? The turnpike. Iceberg looking like a whole snack today. That's awesome. That is awesome. By the way, thank you. We got 400 watching right now. We're almost at 250 likes. Let's see if we can get as high up with that as possible. James, hey Iceberg, how's your evening? Pretty good. I'm having a pretty good evening as we cross the 400 threshold. Chase on the win. Uh, I don't know if you're asking like my thoughts of Chase winning. I mean, like I said earlier, it's good for the it's good for the sport. I just wish LaJoie would have won. Sorry. Let's see what else got. Eric Jones is the most underrated driver in NASCAR. I mean, I'm gonna stick to my guns on this. I'm going with Michael McDowell, but Eric Jones is right up there. I think Eric Jones has been getting more coverage this year, highlighting how good of a driver he actually is. Who's better, Greg Biffle or Casey Kane? I'm gonna go Greg Biffle on that one. Hey, thanks, Danny. I like my blank shirt too. I'm just gonna wear blank shirts from now on because I think that's become the meme. Because for so long, I would always be wearing like all these crazy shirts with stuff all over them, and now I've just been wearing blank ones, and I like the meme, so I'm gonna keep it going. I might wear a shirt that like has printed on it "nice shirt." That'd be pretty fun. Harvick with another top 10 out of nowhere. Yeah, again, Harvick has had a great season by pretty much all standards, and it's just a hole in this format is a guy in 30th could make it in over him. Oh yeah. The blue and black, I figure it fit the channel pretty well, and looks good. And I can just like I can sit in a corner over here and just like record. I look like I'm a character from the Blair Witch Project. I didn't hear Kyle Larson's name once today. I heard him at the start, but that was when he damn near spun it into the infield grass coming out of 4. Hold on one second. I'm going to mute it for a moment. Full disclosure, too, my girlfriend's back just off camera, and I just needed some water. Room tour, I'll do that when I clean it up. But I have some cool stuff hanging up here. I can always show a wall. Over here is like that's a 2000 Dale Jr. sign that Danny B Talks got me. There was this place closing. There's some junior beer bottles, my weightlifting stuff, a bunch of 164s. A lot of cool stuff. Figure I'll probably do that at some point. There's a lot of cool stuff behind me, but I don't want to go too nuts for now on it. Yeah, get some coughs going in the chat. Let's get some cough drops in the chat. How much Dale Jr. Budweiser stuff do you have? A lot, like a lot. From about the time he left DEI, I've been a connoisseur of useless Dale Jr. gear. So, Mickey Elliott. Again, it wasn't a Mickey win. He was the most dominant guy out there today. I'm gonna be critical where I'm critical with a little bit of stuff, but at the same time, he ran a great race. There's just no arguing that he ran very well. Thank you. I'll get a sip of water. Who's better, Natalie Deck or Cody Ware? Cody Ware. Cody Ware can drive in two different forms of racing, and while he's not great in NASCAR, he's not a top tier guy in NASCAR or IndyCar. You got to respect a bit. Old AMS or new? Old, clearly old for me. I am a big fan of the old one. Let's see if we can get to 300 likes before we end this off. I think we'll go maybe 10, 15 minutes. Let's have some fun. Maybe do some Q&A with it. Among other things. If there's any other big things to talk about with it, let me know. I'll read any super chats come up too before we end it off. How would you grade NBC's coverage so far? Well, we've had 3 races. I didn't get to watch the Road America one because I was there. So, based off Nashville and Atlanta, it's better than Fox. I will say that. I think it is more in depth than Fox was. I think that's where a lot of people have been really happy with it. At the same time, it's the way they're distributing it is the problem. It's hard for people who aren't diehards to find the channel. It's hard for people who aren't keeping up on everything to know where to look. In fact, it might be on Peacock. It might not, depending on what channel. It's a little above average compared to the usual NASCAR broadcasts. I mean, I give it a 6 or 7 out of 10 so far. I think they just, today took it down a bit just because of the hyper fixation on Elliott stuff. For a fan who, like me, who has nobody I root for, and I can't imagine for fans who root for other people, it was getting annoying towards the end of the race. Marky Mark, thank you for the $5. Says on a scale of 1 to 10, how in trouble is Chastain with Hamlin? 8 or 9. I would not want to be the one car around the 11. Scott, thanks for the chat, man. Based on the past 3 weeks' performance, do you think Chase is the clear cut threat, or like probably the number 1 threat to win the championship? No one is a clear cut one yet. I would say. I would, if I had to guess on a weekly basis, there's a few guys I would put up there. If Kyle Busch keeps slowly but surely taking himself out of races a lot of times or having bad luck, he'll move out of this. But I think Kyle Busch is still one who is a championship 4 threat. Chase Elliott is definitely there. Ross Chastain, Ryan Blaney if he can get some wins. Don't count out Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson's running better than people think. It's just those DNFs he had early in the season are, haunting him in the points tally. Other than those guys, I think no one is consistent enough right now. I think Bell was consistent enough, but he's kind of fallen on some hard times in the summer. Kevin Harvick is consistent, but he isn't consistently in the top 5 or winning. So I don't know yet. Why don't you do these post-race streams more often? Even as a Chase Elliott fan, I felt it bad for Corey LaJoie at the end. A lot of times it's just where I'm at. Sometimes I'm not at home to do them. Sometimes I'm on the road. A lot of times I'm at the track. And for any of you who've been to NASCAR tracks in recent years, you know that there's probably more internet reception in Louisiana swamps than there is at a NASCAR race. Tyler Reddick could be a dark horse. He has to get the consistency up, though. But I agree. I agree, Jason. I think he is a dark horse. Daniel, thank you for the $2. Nothing tops Earnhardt and Talladega in TV bias. Yeah. To be fair, though, it was and again, I'm a biased Junior fan. It was cool seeing 150,000 people going nuts. But I completely agree, though, that the bias towards most popular drivers, it's not that great. Andrew, that's good to know that Phoenix has good internet. If things come together, I'd love to fly out there and see the finale. I went to the finale in 2019 to the Hot Pass, and it was fun. I would like to be in the infield though and get a little more in depth coverage of it, because I wouldn't want to go just to get the same stuff that fans will see. Um, but that's that's good to know. I'm glad. I would love to go out there sometime because I think they're getting the championship race next year, and I'm pretty sure that they'll get it after that. Um, at least through this contract, they've put so much money into that facility. But if they took away the spring race for Chicagoland, I wouldn't mind. Just saying, just saying, just saying. Let's see what else we got in here. Tyler McDowell, champ favorite if he wins and can keep up with top tens. My thoughts? No. What he's doing is amazing right now. And I know it's kind of probably tongue in cheek there. What he's doing is amazing. And I will keep championing that he is insanely underrated and should get a lot of spotlight. Like when I think Jeff Burton was like, McDowell, he's in the middle of the pack, but he always shows up for super speedways. And I'm like, bro, no, he shows up for a lot more. Um, what is this one? NOK50. I apologize. I'm an American, so I was never really educated in the rest of the world. I apologize. But thank you, old Jacob, for that. If NBC gives drivers this much attention on home tracks, Truex is golden. Woohoo! Oh wait, they don't care. I can tell you. I mean, just a little stuff from behind the scenes with algorithms and stuff. Obviously, Chase Elliott is a big draw for a lot of people. But Martin Truex Jr. is surprisingly not, even for how well he's done and stuff. Norway. Okay, well, thank you. Um, so I mean that's pretty. It's pretty easy to see when you see where the draws are. They'll never give Truex the same coverage that they'd give. Well, they'll never probably give any driver the same coverage they've given Elliott or an Earnhardt, or a Gordon, for that matter. Which it should be. It should be expected, in all honesty. Am I going to Michigan? More than likely. That is, I believe, the first weekend of August. So no. I have some family stuff to do that weekend. But I love Michigan. First race was there. Favorite race ever was there. Uh, Least favorite race I've been to was there. So that 2016 race, the first Michigan race in 2016 as a junior fan, very bittersweet. That was my graduation present. Was going and watching my favorite driver's career get cut short. Um, Comedy for trying to bring levity, I guess. Opinion on every Chase Elliott win being called a Mickey win? No. I mean, you can be unhappy with the driver winning, but not everyone's a Mickey win, and a lot of it is just trolling. And I'm sorry, to Elliott fans. I know this isn't all of you, but if you go on Twitter and you look at Elliott fans, they're remnants of Junior Nation and Gordon fans, and those were the two easiest ones to get a reaction out of. Chase Elliott fans are easily the easiest base to get a reaction out of, with Kyle Busch fans and Kyle Larson fans pretty close too. THO22 Michigan with this package is very promising. They've talked about it racing like a super speedway, so maybe what we saw today might be applicable to, in a sense, to what Michigan will be later in the season. Yeah, we got 276 likes. I think we get 24 more with our 350 watching. I'm really surprised because I don't stream very often, so I might keep doing this on weeks that I'm at the track or weeks that I have off. I'll have a video up tomorrow and everything like that. Be sure to vote on the poll. I'm going to update it, refresh it real quick. We're 35 minutes in. We got 2,000 votes. So leave some responses on there. I'm looking right now. The number one comment is from Spencer5478, who's a member of the channel. So I'll be sure to read that one on the podcast this week. Again, on Eric's channel, on Eric Estep's channel. There's no lights at Michigan. Yeah, that is a pretty big issue, honestly. Bring back Chicago. I'm going to be on that train. So, okay, this is another thing that went around this week, and I'm not someone who has the inside scoop on everything, but I'm going to take a guess on why on that commercial, Chicagoland was taken out and just Speedway was left. Maybe it was something with like legal stuff. Maybe it was like in a way that maybe it was a way for people to be like, oh, we've never been to Chicago before. See, street race is new. I don't know. I'm not going to give a grand conspiracy theory on it. I'm not crazy about the street course, even if it didn't have, what used to be my hometown track. basically being forgotten for that race. I still am not crazy about it either way. That just adds an extra sting to it. It's like rubbing salt in the wound. Um, but yeah, it sucks in that respect for me. But I don't think the Chicagoland stuff being taken out is too awful crazy. I think it's expected, honestly. But it generated a lot of hype and a lot of engagement on social media this week. So if that was the goal they were going for, which it very well may have been, they got what they wanted. Have you been to Kansas Speedway? Yes, I've been there in 2020, or no, 2019, 2020, 2021, and I will be there for the playoff race this year as a fan. Not as, not, more than likely not as media. Just, I like that one I enjoy with my dad. But if you guys are going, feel free to come on up. I'm always cool with that. Where do you think Larson would be if he didn't have that California win? Seems to be having a hangover. He'd be in. I don't know if you don't know how they'd race, how different they would. Maybe he would have got another win. Um, I just think he hasn't had the good luck he had last year, and the fact that the new car makes everything sort of back to square one for a lot of people. But you see, Hendrick Motorsports is doing well. I'm not going to count him out if he's still doing pretty bad by like say Texas. Not bad per se, but if he's not a threat to win every week, similar to what he's doing now by like Texas, I'm going to be a little bit. I'm gonna be a little bit worried per se. But with this format, you get stuff landing the right way for you. You never know, man. I mean, we've seen years where three guys, like in 2018, are the most dominant all season, and then someone like Joey Logano, who has been good, gets better while they go down a step and they do well. You have years where Chase Elliott did very well in the playoffs, but was overshadowed by Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin. But he got hot at the right time and he got that championship. So, Alex, thanks for the $5, man. If you want the NASCAR Weekly Podcast to sponsor Parker75, drop a 75 in the chat. I don't think we have that kind of money yet, but when we get the budget, we'll look at it. We are 7 likes away from 300, by the way. So look that like button, and we'll before we get to the end of the stream here, answer a few more chats, and then I think we're gonna run off before we hit an hour on this thing. Zachary, what would you think of being a broadcaster, Jarrett? Well, I'm not on real racing, but next year we're doing the NR Cup Series, which is sort of a bit of a league branch off of what IDK Player does with NR Night in America. And IDK Player will be the lead commentator, and then Darian Gilliam, aka Black Flags Matter, as well as myself, are actually going to be color commentators for that. We'll do 4 races on IDK's channel, 4 on mine, and then 4 on Darian's. So I would say that it would be fun. I'm gonna need a little bit of practice before it. Obviously, with my voice kind of going out here, whereas 40 minutes in, whereas IDK goes 7 hours straight with it. I will need a little bit of practice beforehand, but I'm excited. It's a new opportunity, really fun stuff to do, and we'll keep you guys interested. Not interested. We'll keep you guys, in the know on what we're doing with that for next year. But it's gonna be really fun. Got a lot of current tracks, old tracks, new tracks, grassroots. It's trying to be just what everyone likes, but also be its own thing at the same time. Fulha Di Papel, I think that's how you say the name. I can see my girlfriend smiling at me from behind the camera as I'm sorry. But says Elliott is looking like the favorite right now, leader in wins and super consistent in points. As a Hamlin fan, I'm getting kind of pissed with the number 1. I don't blame you as a Hamlin fan for getting mad. I would be too. I'd be as a Dale Jr. fan if someone was running into Jr. every week. Elliott, I don't think he's a favorite, but I think he is definitely working up in a respect. I think that if he gets another win somewhere that's not a super speedway, I think you can definitively call him that with the amount of playoff points he'll have going into this year's playoffs. Turnpike, thanks for the 199. I work as a race announcer, so if you need co-host, oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind. Andrew, I like that. I hope Road America doesn't get booted off the schedule, so we can send Tom Grossi to a race there. Well, I don't know where Tom lives. But I don't think it's in Wisconsin. I know he's a huge Packers fan, so as long as we kept football out of it, we could be civil. No, I'm kidding. I've talked to Tom before. Me and him follow each other on Twitter, and he's a good dude. I would love to see him out at a race. He was on Dumpster Fire with me and the other podcast guys about, was it this year or earlier last year? And that was fun. We basically talked about ways we broke the law while driving a car, which was pretty fun. And if my mom and dad are watching, I swear it was just telling stories. um, do you think Trackhouse driver can make it to the championship race? If it's gonna be Ross Chastain, but he can't make too many enemies. All right, I let's finish this off with something really fun to do in the chat really quick. I want you guys to leave me your rating out of 10 for the race. 0 for worst, 10 for best. Go nuts. And I'm just going to sit here for a second and see. I'm going to mute myself for a second. I think I need to cough. So hold on one second. Man, I got to get better at this. I'm used to being one of many. Not the only guy. See, I find it very interesting seeing all the different numbers in here because there's a lot of people obviously are positive with it, but there are a lot of people who are definitely lower on it. Cough out of 10. I love. I'll tell you what. On Wednesday, I want to see everybody when we start the show make the coughing meme in the chat on Eric's channel. Let's just go nuts with that. I mean, this is looking about like the split is on the poll. A lot of people are looking pretty happy with the way the race went. 56 great so far. You know, lowest one at the moment is below average. So it looks about how I thought it would. Um, but yeah, I think that about covered. A lot of 8s out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10s, a lot of 6s, 4s, and then 0s. Um, Drink hot tea and honey mixed in for the voice. I'll be sure to do that. I've been being told that for a bit now. Um, so I'll be sure. I got two good people. For me, I'm going to give it a 6, personally. I'm still not a fan of super speedway racing at Atlanta. I'm trying to like it. I think it was better than the last race here. But at the same time, I'm still just not it's not my thing. It's not my thing. And I'm trying to like it. Uh, you know, but it's going to take some getting used to still. Atlanta was one of my favorite tracks before the repave and reconfiguration. So it's going to take some getting used to. But thank you guys for coming on to this. I'll probably start doing this a little more while I have some more time off between going to races and different things like that. If he's still streaming, head over to Brock Beard's channel. Guy gives excellent analysis on NASCAR. If you don't know who Brock is, he's the same one who founded NASCAR, which talks about like the bottom 5 finishers in NASCAR races, and he is awesome when it comes to his insight and knowledge of the sport. So I'm gonna head off here. Brock's probably I can check really quick and let you know if Brock is still on. Usually I think he goes for about an hour. So yeah, he is still live right now. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.